So in its most basic form, there are two different types of bass drum technique. Heel down and heel up. What I like to talk about in this video is heel up technique only, because I pretty much never play heel down. But then again, I think heel down is pretty much self-explanatory. You just flicker from your ankle and that's it. Now, heel up on the other side requires a little bit more practice, I would say. So if you've come from my previous video on how to set up the drum set ergonomically, you should have a pretty good starting point by now. If you haven't watched that video, go check that out first and then come back. It will make a few things easier to understand. So basically it's all about energy efficiency and creating strokes with as less effort as possible. So the different steps of the heel up technique are the following. You start in your resting position, so toes on the sweet spot of your pedal, chin bone perpendicular to the ground, and then from here you lift your heel up, just your heel, nothing else. Notice that my toes are still in contact with the pedal. So you don't lift your leg or anything, it's just your heel. This shouldn't take any effort at all. Also notice how I don't push the beater further to the drum head. It pretty much stays in the same position. Then from here you want to, as you go down, shift your weight onto the toes until the beater makes contact with the head. Then let your heel follow down and then relax your toes again to catch the beater. Okay? So one more time. Lift, go down, shift weight back to the heel and catch the beater. Now I know that's a lot of things to consider in like 0.3 milliseconds, but you will get it, okay? Just practice it and it will fall into place, I promise. So if you want to practice those steps, just first step, as you already saw, just lift your heel and try not to push the beater further to the head. That's the first thing to practice. The second thing is to practice pushing the beater into the head from this position, so like this. The third step would be to come back to the starting position, so shift your weight back to the heel and lift your toes, just enough to control the beater, so that this does not happen. Okay, those are the three steps you need to practice. And then eventually you can start putting them all together. And this is really just a matter of repetition. Just sit down at the kit every day for like 5 minutes or whatever your time is and practice this. Also, I know there's a big discussion happening on burying the beater or not burying the beater, and what that basically means is burying the beater so the beater stays in contact with the head the whole time. The problem with that is, and the only reason why I don't do that is, you have to actually use your muscles to keep it there. So it's definitely not energy efficient to do that. So I'd rather put in the time and effort to really master the technique to be able to control the beater than to use my muscles the whole time to push the beater against the head. Okay, that's the only thing I'm gonna say about that topic. Now, once we are able to execute the single stroke properly, we can move on to double strokes. And all we have to do to be able to play those is to add an extra stroke right before we shift our weight back down. Okay, so the single stroke was like this. Double stroke looks like this. Again. Okay, so all I did here was, right before coming down again, I added a little extra stroke. Okay, that's all. So still you're coming up, extra stroke, down, up. Okay, just one extra stroke. And it's the same for 3 strokes. And even 4. And 5. And once you've passed a certain amount of strokes, you might be able to just stay in this position and play constant 16th notes. And that's all I have to say about my bass drum technique. So if you have any further questions, please let me know in the comment section below and I'll be more than happy to answer them.